Scunny!
Are you local?
And welcome back to the chat with me old mucker Dave. Dave Ladders Ladley. Do you know what I thought? It's a good name, but imagine if your name would have been Bladley. Your book would have been called
Bladders.
Bladders to Climb.
Yeah. Which
Your life would, well, you've got all that to come.
it might have been bladders to empty. You never know.
Bladders to empty, yeah. Or bladders full. Yeah. But that brings us on neatly. You see what I did there, that segue? Oh, yeah, we don't just make this shit up. Dave's written a book. This is in cellophane. Look at it. It's beautiful. And it's got shitloads of pages. Do you know how many pages?
267, I think.
So I'm going to hand you over to Dave to tell us all about your book. Firstly, how. Secondly, why. And thirdly, it'll tie in neatly. We was having a quick chat there. So if you put into the internet Scunthorpe's most famous dart player, Dave's name comes up. However, the main name that keeps coming up is
Keith Naylor.
Keith Naylor. And Keith Naylor was...
Yeah, 1969 he got to the News of the World semi-finals, and he was obviously from Scunthorpe. He was a steel worker, fantastic dart player in his rights. And when you played the News of the World tournament, you had to win your local pub, and then you went to play the Scunthorpe Championships, and then you went to play the local championships, and then you ended up in a massive area final, and you had to win that to go to the national finals played at Ali Pali. And the most impressive thing about all of that is all of that was best of 3 501. It never changed. It was best of 3 501.
And that was when? 1969?
1969.
So I can't imagine in 1969 there was such a thing as a full-time professional dart player. Because like you said, he was a steel worker.
Yeah, he was a steel worker.
So everybody would have had other jobs, wouldn't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Or everybody would have had jobs.
Yeah.
You know, darts wasn't a job as such.
And he was a lovely guy. I've learned lots of stories and that about him. And when I started writing the book, I thought one of the things I must do is try and find Keith, because he was still about and still in Scunthorpe. He lived just around the corner from me by chance. So I wanted to try and get hold of Keith and see if I could just get a photograph and a couple of hours with him to write about him in my book. So I did exactly that. So when you get to one of the pages in the book, you'll see a picture of me and Keith.
And I bet he knew exactly all about you as well, didn't he?
He'd watched me play on Sky when I played then, and he knew everything. He knew everything about the game as it was when I was talking to him. He'd have been really intrigued at Luke Littler. Unfortunately, that happened after Keith unfortunately passed away, and I managed to see him, and it's almost like a really good bit of luck that I managed to find him and see him, because in the time that I got the book published and me going to Las Vegas to play and come back, and I went to give him the book and he wasn't there. His neighbours come to see me and said he'd had a massive stroke and he was in a home. So at that point, I went to see him in the home. I took the book for him in there. I read him some chapters in there, and he wasn't fully with it, but he knew I was there, and he would acknowledge me. And he said at one point he was just really tired, which was such a shame to see that, because he was a champion.
Because you said he was quite known for being flamboyant.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he used to go in and he would be wearing a scarf, and he would come in and give it someone. He would be wearing and play darts in his scarf, and he was like a unique character of them days, which you can imagine it followed him, that sort of thing, wherever he went, and he was quite flash. If you have a look on YouTube, you'll see him playing in the indoor league.
Okay.
So that was back in the 70s. It's fantastic.
That was the one where Fred Truman
Yeah, that was it.
He was the host, wasn't he?
Silly.
Fred Truman. Was it called Indoor Games League?
Indoor League, yeah.
Indoor League.
Yeah.
Was bowls included in that?
Yeah, and there was.
Because I used to love, I was fascinated by David Bryant. He would have a pipe. He'd have a pipe and he wouldn't even put his pipe down whilst he was bowling. And that was when we used to have a VHS video player. And one of the funniest things, purely by chance, I don't know how you would get the chance to see this, but when you fast forward ×3 bowls, it's magnificent. It's ludicrous. Yeah. It's like watching Keystone Cops or something when they used to go really fast. However, I digress.
So from that, I met Keith's brother John, and me and John have become quite good friends. I wear a logo on my shirt.
You've got the shirt there, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Got the shirt. Show us the shirt, mate.
So I wear this logo on.
It's
on
an
my
old
shirt.
It's too big for him now that it's hench. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that logo there, the Keith Naylor News of the World, 1969, with the scarf around there. And I just thought that's a good tribute to the guy in Scunny.
That's a beautiful homage to somebody who you appreciate professionally, who you appreciate nationally, but more so respect locally. And that level of respect that you both had when you met, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
You don't get
brilliant.
that often, do you?
No, it was brilliant to meet him. When I went to his house, he'd got all of his stuff laid out to show me, all of his awards and medals and stuff, and he was showing me, and he was so enthusiastic about darts, and it was good to meet him. Every year now at the Mulligans, I do like a memorial tournament for him, and one of his old trophies I currently have at my house, and every year we use that as a perpetual trophy that we do photographs with it. It weighs a bloody ton. It's like the FA Cup, but it's brilliant. Brilliant to see that, and we don't know the history of this trophy. We just know this trophy was there, so we don't know what he won it for or whether he bought it on an auction.
That's when they used to be so prestigious, didn't they? That the bigger the trophy was.
Yeah.
I've got what's the trophy you've got? I've took some of your photos off YouTube, but one of them is just ridiculous.
That is the one.
That's the one, is it?
That's the one.
Oh, right, cool.
Yeah, and
actually, you can tell it's got a bit of history to it. It doesn't look like a modern trophy.
Yeah, and the other one that I got pictured with was when England won the British Championships, which I played in. I got a picture with that, and that's quite a big
It's a good job Jockey Wilson wasn't playing for Scotland, though.
Yeah, of course it was.
He was my hero, honestly.
I played in the Scottish club there, where it was his local club, and because I think he was from Kirkcaldy, and we played in the next village there, next town there, and his photographs are everywhere in that club. He was obviously massive in there, and it was good to play in the same sort of venue as he played.
He was just an athlete.
Absolutely. And what did he represent Scottish schools athletics in?
Did he really?
Yeah.
Hurdles.
You'll never guess it. Pole vault.
But no. Jockey Wilson, pole vault.
Yeah. Look it up.
No. He's fucking winding me up here, isn't he? Jockey Wilson. But even the image doesn't work, does it? Really?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, have a look.
Yeah, I think so. Right. Whilst we're on about achievements, you mentioned a few weeks ago, because I got, I don't know what the word would be, I got commissioned, for want of a proper phrase, to celebrate Dave and the other Dave their 50th. So they asked us if I'd sing at the 50th, and to be honest, it was an absolute pleasure. Because I'd have done it for nobody paid me. What a fucking idiot. But you mentioned that night, of all your achievements, the one thing that you can take to your deathbed will be your name on the plaque at Ali Pali.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, at Ali
How
Pali,
do you get that?
You have to have played in the World Championship. So I can't remember the number now, but it's something like about 220 players at the minute have actually competed in the World Championships. And there's a big thing like you've got at Glanford Park with all the names.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that.
The Wall of
And
Fame
the
sort
Wall
of thing.
Fame, and there I am on that along with everybody. So that's something that will never be. You can never ever take that off you. A bit like the 9 darter that I hit, or the 2 that I've hit. They can't be taken off. They was registered. I registered and played in the World Championship. Obviously, the book is another thing.
Yeah.
All of these things, I like to leave a bit of a legacy, and that sits there, doesn't it? So
yeah, absolutely it does. Yeah. Legacy. Yeah, I'm along the same lines.
Yeah.
Fucking legacy.
Yeah.
I'm like a snail. I just leave a shit trail behind me of devastation.
Yeah.
Dave, this impresses me.
Yeah.
Just because I really like cellophane.
Yeah.
Now, this when I heard you'd written a book, it was just yeah, because it's said that everybody's got a book in them, but very few people write it. I've done mine as an ongoing YouTube thing, which I quite like that medium, of voice, imagery, all the rest of it. You've sat down and written this by hand.
I did, yeah.
And completely from the heart. I'm going to get into this, and completely from the heart. I probably only read 2 books a year, tops.
Yeah.
And one of them is usually Fiesta or Razzle, if I come across an old one in a box.
If you can prize the pages apart.
And to be honest, the only part of the reading I do is the readers' wives' letters. But I'm going to get around to this because it intrigues me. So, condense. And it is available. Did you say it's available on audiobook now as well?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've done a version on audiobook.
Did you narrate that?
I didn't.
Did you not? You used AI to do it?
And it's quite fantastic what it did. But
did they sample your voice, or have you gone for?
I was going to go for that, and I think there's a way of doing it. And I think as the technology gets better, I'll definitely be able to do that. But at the minute, when you download any of these apps, they all want money, and then it's really hard to run them. And but I did a version of it. It cost me a few quid, and it meant that people that don't read could actually download that and maybe go walking and listen. I think it takes 4 hours in total. So you could listen to it on there.
A lot of people like that with podcasts. Yeah. They couldn't sit through one necessarily, but when you got your headphones on, it's great company and entertainment if you're walking or rambling or whatever.
It does miss a couple of things out as far as, because I've listened to it obviously, but it misses a couple of things out. But I think the general gist of it gets, which is pretty good. The book itself, I always said I would write a book, and I wanted to write an autobiography. But when my dad passed away, I used to spend a lot of time. I'd go down to his grave quite a bit at the start, and it just used to upset me. So I stopped going, and that's the right thing to do for me. But when you go down there, there's my dad, he's buried there, and Fred Parkinson's buried next to him, Fred and his wife. And then there's my uncle Stuart, he's next to him, Stuart Simons. And then there's Ian Cox, he's in that row, and you just think it's so sad.
Well, to be honest, arguably, just on an age level, most, if not all, should still be alive.
Yeah, they should, yeah. And I was thinking, all of these people down there, and where's the story? Because I could tell you all my dad's stories on most of them. And
most of them we couldn't tell on here.
Yeah, probably.
He was a rum lad, was old Icky. He was a rum lad.
So yeah, I thought, if I wrote a book that had some of my dad's stories in it, and if ever I was buried and my plan would probably be to be buried in the same place, because that's where my brother is as well. I would think maybe if my grandson or great-grandson had a book and could go down and tie all these stories together with all these people that are mentioned in the book as well, and then I leave this memory that we can live on. So I kind of live on.
It's tangible as well. It's there to be read. It's not just a story that's hearsay.
Yeah, and if my granddad had a book, I'd
you'd
definitely
be all
read
over
it.
it.
Yeah,
of course we would. Yeah,
going to find out what happened. And where was it? And
most of our granddads would look if they could even write to any great ability.
And I never met either of my granddads, so
Did
I
you not? No.
never really had one. So
Right.
yeah, that's another sad fact. But
So how can they get your book?
so the best way to do it would be to message me directly, because I've still got all the rights for it at the minute. I've only got one book left, but it only takes me about a week to get some back in stock, so I can buy them and then distribute them out. So I originally did it for that reason, to have a story in the family and to give it back to my family. So I tried to do it, so I probably got 20 copies that I give out to all my family.
Yeah.
I sold 500.
500?
500, so I made...
You know 500 people who can read.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
So nobody bought it in Wintringham then?
So, sold 500 of them, and I made about, I don't, 500 quid or something like that. So what I thought, right, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invest that 500 quid. There's 2 mistakes in the book, which you might spot one of them, but there are 2 mistakes in the book. And I thought, I'm going to put that mistake right, do it again, add another little bit in, and then do it on hardback with the proper cover and that, and with a black sheet in the side. And I wrote a message to every one of my family that I give it to, a message from me.
Okay,
even my grandson at the time was a couple of months old, or not even born, and I wrote a message to him. So he's got a message there from his granddad and the book. And I just think that's quite special.
Beautiful, mate.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Welling up.
Taking a tear away. Tell you what you could do. You could add another chapter where you win the World Championships, right? So you win the World Championships. Go with me on this. This is an absolute killer. You win the World Championships and you get a lot of unwanted attention from the ladies because, you know, like most lads from Winterton and Wintringham, we're a pretty good-looking lot. And you start getting all this attention from women. And you fall by the wayside, you start taking Class A drugs. And you could just call it snakes and ladders.
Yeah. Well, it's probably...
You've got your new points, so you've got your new tips. It could happen. It could happen. If Luke falls ill, right, Gerwin doesn't turn up, anybody else who's any good, you've pissed it, mate.
Well, the thing is...
And there's no wire.
I did think about this, the name for my next book, when it wasn't going to be that, but it was going to be The Next Steps, which is actually...
Steps.
Because you never know. The book's not over.
No.
So
Rung a bell. It's just all about ladders, isn't it?
You know, yeah.
I still like snakes.
You've met a few snakes, have you?
To be honest, if you went through my phone, most of the people in it are snakes. But I'm comfortable in their company. We're all sort of semi-reptilian. Yeah. Anyway, enough about me. I'm going to bring up something here that I've harboured for a long while. I was a bit reticent to mention it today, but I never got to tell you. So, one, I've known Dave's family, his dad, his sister, his mum, his brother, known them since, crikey, early 80s. Used to drink a lot with his dad. And in later years, I got to know Sean, your brother. And I say got to know Sean. I got to know Sean probably, and you'll get this, as much as Sean would let anybody get to know him. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There was always that one little thing that you thought, you're not giving me everything.
Yeah.
And he always had that. I love that. You can either have a glint in your eye, or you can say the dip with the mad brush. Either way, your kid was interesting.
Yeah, he was.
He was interesting. Yeah, I gigged for him a couple of times towards the end when they were running the Red Lion at Broughton, and I got to be in his company quite a bit for a brief period. So obviously, with your dad's passing, was a huge void, because your dad was a big character. He was a big man in every way, but he was an honest grafter. He was a top bloke who would do anything for his family. And to have him to live up to is a huge asking. You know, like my dad as well. My dad, you know, he died recently. Yeah. If you could be half the man your dad was. And my old man was schizophrenic, so I'd have to be a quarter of the man. But if you could be half the man, you know, they were a rare breed. And then come down a generation, your Sean was a big fucking character. Big character. You know. And you lost both of them when, you know, they should still be here, end of. Yeah. And we went to, both Rach and I went to Sean's funeral, and I've never got the chance to tell you how you orchestrated, conducted that whole day was magnificent, Dave. I've never seen anybody step up to the plate and like I said, you had two massive characters there. Step up to the plate and lead the family through that crisis was just, it was dignifying, it was impressive. Yeah. But it was also horrible occasion, as, you know, anybody who dies, it's a loss, but when they die so suddenly and so young, but you celebrated the day as well. Yeah. You celebrated his life. And for somebody to sit there who, at my age, sadly, I get to go to too many fucking funerals, to see and watch you, who prior to that weren't necessarily a person who would come forward an awful lot. You know, I'd barely heard you have a conversation prior to that. And for you to stand up in your own village, surrounded by your nearest and dearest saying bye-bye, and the manner you did it, mate, it was mind-blowing.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, Mash. There's a couple of things that happened, and I talk about it in the book. And with my dad, I promised him one day. My dad was big on promises, and if you'd have gone to my dad's funeral, you'd have heard me talk about the promises. But I promised him I would do his speech at his funeral, his eulogy. And then when he passed away, I was like, oh shit, I said I'd do that. I promised it. My dad would always deliver promises. I had to deliver it. So it kind of helped me get through it. And I did it, and I got massive raptures of applause, which I asked for. I said, not for me, but for my dad.
On his behalf,
what it meant, what the life meant to him, and, you know, raise a glass and cheer and clap and do whatever you want to show. So when Sean passed away, unfortunately, Sean hit the bottle quite a bit after my dad died, and I don't think he could handle it, and, you know, unfortunately...
Bit of an occupational hazard as a landlord as well, isn't it? You know what I mean?
And you'd think that would be the worst place for him to be, but it was probably one of the better places for him to be. Because if you're an alcoholic, being around alcohol can be a problem, but it can also be a calming thing where you know it's there if you need it, but you don't have to have it. And that's kind of where he was at. Now, when Sean passed away, I had to then do that again. And when you read the book, what happened in between my dad dying and before my dad died and after, it was a massive breakdown of me, you know, and I had quite a big breakdown I worked through it all, didn't have any time off, did it, and managed to pull myself back up.
It's the pressure, isn't it?
So, and when you say about, you know, just how well I did with that, I really, really appreciate that, because it took a lot, and I know it was controlled, and everybody listened.
Yeah.
And what I liked about that is that everybody did listen, because you're right, I don't often speak up in places, and I like to think that if I do speak up, people do listen, because it's not just background noise. And no matter what I do, if I speak, people generally do listen. And that sort of thing, they listen, because I had a story to tell. And I talked about him has life been a pack of cards, and you deal it with it how you want. And he dealt his own way. He was quite close.
Well, he said earlier,
brave.
he did more in his short years than 10 people would do.
Yeah, in 44 years.
Yeah, there wasn't anything he left behind. Certain.
No, and he was a good guy to have on your side as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a Wintringham thing. There was some big strapping characters. There's something in the water there.
Probably is.
It's either that or it's leftovers from the abattoir where I know your dad worked and your kid worked. Something in it that Coxey. Big.
Yeah, it was big. Yeah.
Stewie, you're all massive.
Yeah, and that's that I get that just naturally, and I try not to. I want to keep myself
so
here for a long time.
You could balloon up.
Oh,
yeah. I'm the same. I keep myself trim.
You do really well, mate.
Not really. Not really. I'm about 2 stone heavier than I was a year and a half ago. But that's because 4 of my mates betted me 400 quid. I couldn't lose 2 stone in 2 months. And I did, and the 400 quid I got, I spent it on food.
All right.
Yeah, so it was a pointless fucking exercise.
But thanks for that, though, Mash.
Oh no, I've always wanted to say it, mate. Seriously, it was from an average Joe. Like when you see films on telly, and they're actors, they're amazing. This was, you're still the kid in the pub to me.
Yeah.
And you fucking stood there, and honestly, I tried to replicate it.
Yeah.
At my dad's funeral, and I wrote quite a bit about him, and it was fucking awful. I shook like a shitting dog.
Yeah.
I could barely get my words out, and I'm only around about 8 people, but it was it was horrific. And the way, it was, I thought, I can do this. And clearly I fucking couldn't. And Scunny there and Sid's there going, come on, Mash, you can do this. And that was nice to have that there.
But like the darts, and we're going back to the darts and the control and and all of that, all comes into play, because if you let your emotions fly away from you while you're playing darts, you'll lose. So you've got to also be like that. So it's about taking a breath. And for me, I just wrote buzzwords down. So I wrote about 10 words. I thought I'd tell it in my way. So I wrote the 10 words and made sure.
So that wasn't even a full speech?
It was just off the top of my head. So it's impressive, isn't it? I could have done better at school,
Yeah, I think we both could. I spent more time at school at night when it was shut.
Trying to break in.
I wasn't trying to break in.
All right.
I got in.
Yeah.
Dave, that's to your dad.
Cheers, mate.
And
Thank
your
you.
kid.
Thank you. Cheers.
Top blokes.
Appreciate that.
Top bloke. Right. I'm going to lob some names at you.
Okay.
And you can either give me a one-word answer or you can elaborate.
All right.
Alrighty? Sid Waddell.
Amazing. Very clever bloke. And I met him when I was 13.
You got to meet him, did you?
I got to meet him when I was 13. And I met him again on a train once, coming back from somewhere, and he was the next carriage to me, and he was talking on the phone about a book he was going to write about Jockey Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Because he wrote Joss's Giants as well, didn't he?
Did he write Joss's Giants? I hated them. They were at Watford, weren't they? That's where it was filmed.
Yeah, he wrote that.
Joss's Giants.
Yeah.
Do you know what his... Because he was notoriously awful jokes. Like your dad jokes. Well, he'd get them wrong as well. Like his similes and everything were just fucking wrong. Do you know what his nickname was? The Thief of Bad Gags.
All right.
I love that. And that suits him to a T, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, Sid Waddell, he said there, you met him. So he'd have been one of your heroes.
Yeah, definitely.
The closest I've ever come to meeting one of my heroes was on a flight to Gran Canaria. I was doing a week's gigs out there doing the Neil Diamond show. And 2 rows in front of me was Ken Dodd.
All right, great.
And I got to spend about 45 minutes with him. And what a fucking gentleman.
Yeah.
What an absolute legend. So we gets to Gran Canaria and I'm, can I have a picture, Ken? Can I have a picture? And they had all these, and everybody looks rough on an aeroplane. So you imagine how bad he looked.
Oh, terrible.
Take that out of your aero. And I was that fascinated in having the crack with him. I gave him one of my CDs and he says, oh, I like Neil Diamond. He says, thank you for that. He says, have a great time. I says, thank you, Ken. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you. And I went and picked the wrong fucking suitcase up. I was that sidetracked by having the crack with Ken Dodd that I picked the wrong bastard case up.
Oh,
I ruined a woman's fucking holiday.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but I look fabulous for a fortnight. Second name, Phil the Power Taylor.
Yeah, I met him a few times, as we mentioned earlier on. Never played him in competition. He was so hard to beat by everyone. He's the best player that's ever been. I think even if standards at the minute rise up a little bit from what he was playing, which they haven't really, he would find another level. He had that in him. A bit like Bristow. It's different era. It'd have been
How
different.
crafty was he? It's just a name, isn't it?
Yeah,
He wasn't that
Cockney.
crafty.
Yeah, and Phil the Power Taylor's first nickname was the Crafty Potter because he was from the potteries.
Okay.
And then obviously with the Sky takeover and darts, he had to find a different name, and it was the Power.
Because what three places have the championships been that are famous? I remember Lakeside.
Lakeside, and then the Ali
Where was Circus Tavern?
That's in Essex. That's
Is
where
it?
I played.
Right,
Circus
okay.
Tavern, yeah.
Bloody hell, right.
Yeah, 2006 when I played there. 2006. And,
Does the Winter Gardens play a part at all?
Yeah, that's in the World Match Play.
That's the one in Blackpool?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So what rankings have you got in any of them? Because you tried explaining it, and it's quite odd, isn't it?
It is quite odd. Out in the PDC, highest ranked I got was 63 in the world, which is pretty good. I was always...
Do you know how big the fucking world is?
Yeah,
and he's saying, 63 is pretty good.
Yeah.
World's massive.
Yeah, you always want better, like, don't you?
Size of a planet.
Yeah. But, that was generally always in the top 100. So to do that, you've done all right. And now I play in the WDF, which is like a tier down from the PDC. It's not part; it's a separate organisation. A bit like what the BDO was.
A bit like Live Golf.
Yeah,
You've gone where the money is.
Yeah, not quite, but yeah, I have to do a lot more travelling with the WDF. I'm doing it, yes, for fun. Yeah, I still want to win. I'm going out there to win stuff. I want to try and qualify for the World Championship at Lakeside, which the WDF have the World Championship there every year. So I want to be back. I want to get there, because if I get there, I've done the PDC World Championship, the WDF World Championship, representing my country, wrote a book, etc., etc. I've kind of got the complete set.
Yeah.
Now, if I did any more than that, then great. And at the minute, I'm still playing very
If you do any
well.
more than that, you're taking the piss and not leaving room for anybody else.
There's plenty for everybody at the minute. So yeah, it's there's another organisation coming up, ADC. That's very, very good as well. That's probably rival in WDF at the minute. But WDF, you get to travel these places. I went to Denmark a week ago. I go to Finland in 3 weeks' time. I go to Gibraltar 2 weeks after that, and then I'm in Vegas for a week.
Vegas.
So yeah.
So there's every
plenty.
chance snakes and ladders could still happen.
You never know.
Because that place is a den of filth.
Yeah.
Worst holiday I ever had. Never going back there. Fucking hate the place. Next along, Luke the Nuke.
Yeah.
Luke the Nuke.
So when I first got...
Because your picture... Was he representing England same time?
Yeah, he was.
Right.
Yeah. So when I got picked first time round, I was the one of the older guys in the team, and he was the young lad, 15 years old.
So you got to drive the bus.
Yeah, so in the practice room, I thought I'll spend a bit of time with him. He's obviously nervous. He's this young kid, and I was like, "Come on, let's play some practice games." We had some practice games, and I kind of.
And he was how old at this point?
15.
15.
I was kind of geeing him up because I remember, as we talked about, me being that age as well. But he's took this extra level to the England men's team by then, and and then he went up and absolutely played his socks off, and he's thinking, "Oh my God, he's amazing. He's something else." But I was always one of these that was like, he can't do the next level. He can't do the next. He can't. Yeah. And every time he's just broken it. And just now I just think there's nothing he can't do. He's fantastic. Really
is he
good
still,
kid.
Because I mean, it's a big deal when you've been referred to as possibly the best dart player ever. Yeah. Not in your time period, but fucking ever.
Yeah.
Is he still reasonably? How can you stay grounded?
And it's really hard because for him he's one of these famous people now, and leaving his house he'll be swamped and no doubt, and that sort of life is it's not for everybody, is it? No, I don't think I would.
You asked me at the when we was chatting outside, did I ever fancy being famous? Fucking not for a second. No, not a prayer. To wake up and do what you want. Yeah. You can't put a price on that. Happy days.
Yeah, I kind of didn't want to be famous, but I wanted to do everything that I thought I could do on the dartboard, and I still don't think I've done enough. I haven't done what I think I can do.
Yeah, but that's testament to you, mate.
Yeah,
you've still got ambition.
Oh, I have, yeah.
You could have easily sacked that shit off years ago.
Oh, yeah, I could have
and just promoted locally.
Yeah, I could have done
but
that.
You're still going to Denmark at a weekend.
Yeah.
You're still going to Finland. You're still going to Iceland on a Saturday, but that's because you've got to do big shop.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And Heron.
And the Heron as well, yeah. The last name, a bit of a curveball, this one. Yeah. Dave Urrell.
Dave Urrell.
Dave Urrell. What does the name Dave Urrell mean to you?
It means bloody everything to me, that guy.
What?
What an absolute legend.
He's a gardener.
He's, you know what, from being, as whenever I could first walk and talk, I've spent time with Dave, and me and him in the village, there was only like 6 people in our year in
your age bracket. Yeah,
so it was like really, really tight knit, and me and Dave spent so much time together.
Dave's a local entertainer, by the way. He goes out as singer with a band called Blindside. He does an Elvis tribute. Been good mates with Dave and his dad as well. Sadly, he's not with us. He had a right voice, his dad.
Yeah.
Wonderful singer. The King of Romance, he called himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dave Urrell. I mean, that's sweet that you're still best mates who you were best mates with from the first time you could form a relationship as a mate.
Yeah,
that's just outstanding.
We talk every week. We're in touch all the time. And when I'm playing in Denmark, he texts me and asks me how I'm getting on, and then if he's ever gigging anywhere and I can make it, I'll try.
Have you ever heard him sing?
Yeah, have you? Yeah. So,
not properly.
Yeah. I have a lot of time for him. Me and Dave go back forever,
all the way.
Forever.
I've got a message from Dave.
Have you?
Unbeknown to you, I texted him last week. This is from Dave, okay? You've been my best mate for 50 years. Boys to men. High and low. Until we fucking die. That's from your best mate, Dave. So I do apologise for swearing there. That's not me. That's Potty Mouth Urrell for his best mate. But no, it is absolute sweet, that.
Yeah.
Having that.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. Yeah. And, when I write about it in my book, but when my dad was poorly, I asked him to come and meet me one day at the home where he was in. And Dave come in. I said, I really need Dave. I need you to see what I'm seeing. So he come in with me, and obviously my dad was such a legend, and this big strong guy, and all of a sudden he wasn't anymore. And me and Dave was together with that, and my dad come to the door. I can still see him at the glass door now as we're coming out of the home, and he said, "Can I come with you, lads?" I said, "No, Dad, you've got to stay here." We locked the door, and I was going back to work, and Dave was going back to work, and we'd met there in the middle of Appleby. And anyway, he just hugged me, and we both went out of sight like he hugged me, and we both had a tear. And that was him there for me, for my dad. And unfortunately, when Dave's dad died, it was COVID. Couldn't see him. He had all the terrors of that. But we met up in between Scunthorpe and Lincoln when I was on my way back at Greetwell. We parked cars front to front, and we just sat on the bonnets because there was you weren't meant to be.
Knowing what you know now, you'd have sacked all that off
You'd
and
have
just
sacked it
fucking
off.
grabbed him and hugged him, wouldn't you?
And he needed that day he needed a hug, and I
Yeah.
couldn't. And that hurt, but he couldn't see his dad. It was just horrendous. It was horrendous for lots of people at that time, but to watch my best mate go through that was really tough.
The one thing you two's always had, which is really enviable as well, is you openly are so affectionate about each other. And lads, generally, I mean, what am I, 7 years older? We'll do it in a jovial way.
In a banter way. Yeah.
Like, I'll call my mate a cunt. That's pretty much me telling him I love him.
Yeah.
But these two will hug and tell them they love each other. It's beautiful to see, honestly.
It is good.
When we did your party, it's just nice. It was nice and to see, your family there.
Yeah.
Dave's family there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mates are so important. So important. And I think lads form a relationship that's a lot stronger. I can't say because I'm not a fucking female, but I think lads maybe will have two best mates in the whole life. Women will have best mates for different reasons. She'll tell her that, but not her that. We have a best mate, that's it. And we form that very early on, I've still got two or three best mates that you'd do anything for them, and it's the same with you and Dave. It's just odd that you're both called Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you should have a Dave off. And the reason I'm saying that, because I'm known as Mash, and there's another Mash in Scunny, and we're currently working through 10 disciplines to have the Mash Olympics.
All right.
We're both bodies are fucked, so hurdles is going to be a bit of a difficult one. But we're doing shit like fishing, snooker, pool, darts.
Yeah.
So I need some training.
All right.
Which will bring us on to, this is going to be a two-parter this, or even a three-parter, because I am throwing a challenge out there to you, all right? I'm going to come up to your house. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you'll be in. Otherwise, I'll be nicking stuff again. And to be honest, I put that behind me. Yeah. I don't do it anymore. But I want to come up and take you on at 5:01. One, I don't even own any darts. Two, the bloody darts shop's shut now, so I can't even go there. So I'll have to borrow some of yours. But there's got to be a handicapping system. So I can either take you on, and I'm left-handed as well. Are your darts
that's a handicap.
Are your darts left or right-handed?
You might struggle then.
Yeah.
They're right-handed.
So I can either take you on with you throwing left-handed, because you're right-handed, aren't you?
Yeah.
So, and I bet you're pretty good left-handed, aren't you?
Yeah, don't read the book.
I bet you're a bit like Ronnie O'Sullivan, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, well, fuck that then. You're not having that.
Have I got to kick them in?
Now, 5:01. Have you tried blindfolded darts? You don't know what you're missing.
No.
So blindfolded. So obviously there won't be any doubles. But your muscle memory, surely to fuck, put you stood there, you should know.
Do you reckon? So
I reckon that'd be quite interesting. Take me on at 5:01 just to get to the lowest. No doubles or anything.
Yeah.
5:01, because, I mean, you've thrown darts all your life. It's there. Take that away, you've still got that. You've still got that, surely.
Yeah, but take your arm away and you can't throw them at the board either, can you?
No.
But,
No. You're throwing it with your proper hand.
All right, yeah.
But blindfolded. I think that'd be interesting. Because didn't part of the when they used to do these exhibition matches, didn't they used to put a newspaper over the dartboard and they could still pick out the bullseye?
Yeah.
So that's no different.
Or we could do that then.
Right. Blindfolded darts, 5:01 at your house. But there's one huge query about darts that's always baffled me, and I'm hoping you will be able to wrap up this magnificent podcast. Absolutely loved it, Dave.
Cheers, mate.
Loved it. But it's something that's puzzled me for years and years, right? So, sport, and it's quite prominent at the minute because of the last Olympics that you're getting these crossover genders. Mm-hmm. You've got blokes pretending to be women and going into boxing and absolutely pulverising people. It's just fucking unfair.
Yeah.
But darts, to me, surely is the one sport, game, whatever, where gender does not help in any way. It doesn't help nor hinder it. It should be level. It's not done on fitness. It's not done. It's a pure skill of just aiming something. So why aren't there, or have there ever been, a female who has won the World Darts Championship?
No, there's never been. The closest we're at with that is right at the minute. There's a young lass called Bo Greaves from Doncaster. I know Bo, I know her family, absolutely fantastic. What a talent she is.
How old is
she? I think she's 19 or maybe 20 now.
Cool name. She should be like a country artist.
She's absolutely amazing dart player. She's just like last month she won a PDC Players Championship. So a PDC Players Championship is like a world championship on a day. So she won that, and that's the first woman to.
So she's
do
not.
that.
They're not categorising like it's the female.
No, she's in the whole open thing, and
cool.
She breaks the rule of most women. She's just fantastic. She really is a good player. There has been women in the past that have been okay or pretty good, but you'd never get an abundance of them that are particularly.
But there are no barriers why there shouldn't be, is there?
No, there isn't. But you've got to think about it. I think that you would be aware, like more than most, if you think historically.
Well, the patriarchy means blokes play darts in pubs.
Yeah, or the hunter-gatherers.
Hunter-gatherers,
so
you're going back slightly further.
You talk back then, a man was a hunter-gatherer, he could concentrate more than a woman.
And you think that's in the DNA still?
Yeah, it is, because
really?
if you're focused on something all the time as a man, you've just got different focus, I think, to a woman. They're dealing with. Their minds work differently, as you well know. We're not going to that much.
Do they?
We're not going to that. But the minds do work differently. They can think about several things at the same time, whereas a bloke can just focus on one thing.
Yeah, but that's because we focus on one thing and do it properly.
It does.
Yeah.
But then, you've got that, and then there's obviously the strength that a bloke's got. It shouldn't matter, but the consistency of not being having to put so much effort in to throw a dart.
Oh, I don't know. I've seen some big lasses playing.
Yeah,
bigger arms than me.
There is.
Oh,
there is, but generally, as a population, Bo Greaves breaks the mould. She is absolutely fantastic. She'll be possibly the only person that I've seen ever as a female that could potentially win the World Championship. Whether she can or not, I doubt it.
That's a bombshell.
Well, let me explain.
Get some money on it. Get some money on Bo.
This. She beat Luke Littler 6-5 in the junior darts world only last year. She beat him with 105 average. And he 104.
Wow.
And that's how good she was. She had a 9-darter when she won the Players' Champs the other week. She's just phenomenal. She's unbelievable. So she breaks the mould, and she's from a great family from Doncaster. I
knew there were this girl. I'd say that shouldn't. there's no physical reason why they cannot compete in the same
And there have been
discipline.
like women in the past, like Trina Gulliver and
Like Diane Humphreys
yeah.
at Cross Keys.
Yes, yeah, you know.
Diane, Keen Elsies.
But yeah,
You didn't want to do scoring when Di was playing.
There has been some really good women players over the years. Lisa Ashton's another one that has been brilliant. Dita Edman, all great players, fantastic players, but never really been able to hold it consistently with the blokes.
Right.
They can beat them,
Yeah.
but consistently not. And I think it's right that they have their own split of where they play. Apart from
That would be
people
awesome,
like Bo.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
A lass from Dunny winning the World Championship. Go, Bo!
Yeah, she is amazing. She really is, and a lovely lass with it.
And on that bombshell, I want to say a massive thank you to Dave. Give that man a round of applause. Yeah. Cheers, Dave.
Thank you very much,
Love
mate.
that.
Cheers,
It's
mate.
been bloody wonderful.
Cheers, mate.
But nobody leaves my podcast empty-handed.
Oh my God!
Alrighty. And everybody who comes to the podcast now, you should
has to
not
bring something with
don't
him.
come empty-handed because he's left me a box of Corona. So you've won loads of trophies. You've got that massive thing
Yeah.
that Keith used to have.
Yeah,
And I know you could fill dozens of houses with all your accolades. But to me, you could like this.
oh, look at that.
Look at this. Look at that. To me, it means more that A, you're my mate, but B, you are.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
What's it say?
Top Dave.
Top Dave. What a bloke, what a bloke. Cheers
very
again,
much.
mate.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Cheers.
That's a wrap.
Scunny.